Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to another episode of our Learn to Learn with Microverse. My name is Maru, and I'm from Guatemala. I'm here with our guest, Katarzyna from Poland, and Clifton will join us shortly. He's from the UK. And well, first of all, shout out to all the people in this webinar today. Thank you for joining early and let us know your background. Please forgive me if I mispronounce your names saying hi, but yeah, let's say hi, Christian from Mexico, forensics analysis or analyst to web developer, to our guest that doesn't have a name, but hi, Elijah, okay, Clayton, and I saw some agricultural careers there in Marshall from Nigeria. Okay, lots of us are career changers, so that's awesome because the topic today is about changing careers. So and how Katarzyna did this journey. So we're very, very interested in this topic today. So some instructions for all of you guys. Clifton or me will give us your background on Microverse first, and then I will introduce to our awesome speaker today, Katarzyna. And then our speaker will then proceed to enlighten us with all her knowledge and experience. And after the presentation, Clifton will take up about 10 to 15 minutes to go through all the questions. So please put them all in the Q&A section. The chat will give you the option, so you don't have to switch tabs, but please go to the Q&A section to vote for the question that you're most interested in. And then that will be it. We'll close. So, okay. I'm going to go ahead and give you information about Microverse. So if you're joining for the first time, I'm sure you're curious about what Microverse is all about. So Microverse is a remote program for anyone aspiring to become software developers. It's completely free until you get a job. And currently, there are students from over 95 countries and counting. So we have different courses in our program, ranging from HTML and CSS, JavaScript, Ruby, React, and Ruby on Rails, to algorithms and data structures. The program is full-time, usually from 8 to 5, Monday to Friday. And it involves learning with a partner through pair programming. And every couple of weeks, we organize lunch and learns like this with guest speakers like Katarzyna. And our goal is to inspire students by giving them different perspectives of professional software developers. So we also open these lunch and learns to the general public, as we hope to inspire others. And there's tons more info of the Microverse in Microverse website. So do feel free to check out the facts. And that's the introduction of Microverse. So, okay, guys, now to the main reason we are all here. I hope you're ready. Today we have the brilliant Katarzyna Starachowicz with us. Katarzyna has a PhD in philology from the philology, yes, from the University of Krakow. And currently she is a Ruby developer at Riskmethods, that's located in Poland. And also she has been a mentor at the Rails Girls. That's very interesting. And as you know, she is a career changer. So we are all very interested in the topic because here at Microverse, most of our students are career changers as well. So Katarzyna will share with us useful information about her journey, and we are very stoked to know. So hi, Katarzyna. Thanks for taking the time to do this.
Thank you for inviting me.
It means a lot to us. And I'll turn the webinar over to you in just 1 second. And I'm sure our viewers will have many questions as the talk progresses. So can I just take this moment to remind you again to post all your questions in the Q&A section instead of the general chat. And please try to keep them relevant to the topic. We'll try to answer as many as we can after the talk. So now I'll get out of here now and leave the floor completely to you, Katarzyna. So thank you.
Yes,
And see you in a minute. Oh well, when you're
thank you.
finished.
Thank you for
Over to you.
invitation. If I probably won't be able to read the chat and focus on my speech, so if there is something important, just interrupt me, please.
You're fine. You have the whole time. We will do the questions at the end. So
Okay.
go ahead, and I'll leave you. It's all to you now.
Okay. So, as you know, I'm Katarzyna and I study Polish Philology. I I want to tell you my journey today, how I became a Ruby developer. Uh, and the main reason why I do it is because I probably make all possible mistakes you can only make when you're learning and want to be a Ruby developer. So I hope this speech will teach you what you should avoid, and I hope your journey will be your way to the first job as a developer will be much more quicker than mine. First of all, you should know that I was studying Polish philology because I fell in love with literature. I really devoted myself to this topic, and there was no difference for me between studying, work, and hobby. So it was really almost the whole life for me, and I really loved it. I after a few years of studying, I started to working as an academic teacher, as a freelancer editor, and book designer, and I thought that is the wonderful thing it can all ever exist, that you work with books and it's your job. But then the finishing of my VD thesis happened, and to be honest, it was the most horrible 2 years in my life. It was really super hard for me. I felt literature overwhelming on me, and I thought that I felt that it's the end. Was something too much of that, and it's time to change. It's difficult to describe it in reasonable way, but it happened. And it was a little difficult for me because I didn't. I knew I have to start something totally new topic. I knew that I will be involved in that in next few years, and I knew it has to make me happy, and I must enjoy it, because I know that it's difficult for me to differentiate between work and hobby, and I want to have it together. So I only knew what I don't want to do anymore, and it was difficult to find something totally new. Fortunately, I have a friend from my high school who had studied philosophy, and at that time when I was looking a new path, he was already a senior Ruby developer, and he encouraged me to try programming, and I did it, and I fell in love. So in one moment I knew that's exactly that, and I want to do it. So I spoke with my friend and with friend of mine, and he defined some kind of starter kit for me. So he said to me, okay, if you want to find your first job as a developer, you Ruby developer, you should know CSS, HTML5, Git, Ruby on Rails, some SQL basics, and the plan involved also JavaScript in the future. So there was few points I had to do it, and it looks like something easy to do. And I just started to do it. And it was really beautiful because I followed so many great tutorials, and I went step by step, and everything works beautiful, and I created beautiful applications, and it was so easy and so great, and I knew it's a good idea to go involved in that. But after some after that beautiful introduction, I started to make all possible mistakes you only can do, only can make. And there was many different reasons of that, which I see right now, and I probably didn't see at the time. So, firstly, I saw some Python courses, free Python courses online, and not only online, also here in Wrocław. And I thought it's a great idea to attend to it. I told to myself that I shouldn't be narrow-minded. That if somebody studies computer science at university, he or she also tries many different languages. So if I'm learning by myself, I should do it exactly the same way. And I was learning Python because why not? But the truth is, it was wasting time because when you're it's true that at first you should touch few things. For example, to understand if you feel more comfortable with backend or frontend, or with databases, or only with, I don't know, design or whatever. So to just feel what's better for you, and if you want to focus on some one topic, or go to many of them, but still you should find one backend language and one front-end language, for example. So it's good to touch everything, but there is a time when you should, when your main goal is to find your first job as a developer, and then you have to focus on one thing, because it's much more beneficial and better to understand well and deeply one programming language that than touch a lot of them but have only superficial knowledge. So the first lesson is, let's focus on one thing if it's only possible, because it's much better for you, and there will be time for trying another things. But if your goal is to find a job, then focus on one thing. Another reason why I started this Python courses was also, probably, I see it now and I didn't see it at the time, that I was afraid to build something from scratch by myself. It was so nice and easy to follow all these beautiful tutorials and have everything done properly, than to fighting with some errors. And it was bad decision, because the truth is you learn the most when you build something from scratch, and only then you really learn something. So the second lesson is build something from scratch, because after, of course, tutorials are great, but after making them, a few of them, you start doing the same topics one and one more again, and you stop learning. So build something from scratch by yourself. And why I was so afraid of building something from scratch? Because I was afraid of errors. It was nightmare for me. And of course, you can find answer for all your question and fixing of all your errors in internet, on Stack Overflow, by Googling. But were also a few obstacles for me there. First of all, English. My English isn't very good, as you can hear, and a few years ago it was even worse. And when you do some tutorials, it's easy English and you can follow it easy without problem. But when you have some specific problem on your application, and there is a few technical terms and all the problems around, like Linux permissions or Linux process, and you have no idea what's that, you feel really lost, because there is not only problem of the topic but also the proper language. And in my opinion, English is the most important programming language you should learn. So yeah, the next lesson is learn English. And I was afraid of these errors also because I didn't have a mentor. So there are a lot of answers in internet, but it's difficult for you when you are newbie to understand which answer is proper for your specific problem, and why you should choose this one and not this one. And as well as, if there is problem of something another, it's not just misspelling, you don't know if you should spend now 2 days on learning this something around, like Linux tools or whatever, or you just should copy paste and it's enough for you as a junior right now. So if you have possibility to have a mentor, just have him or her, and don't be afraid of asking, because it's super important in your career. For example, I spent 2 days on looking for an error in my few lines of codes, because I didn't know how to debug the problem, debug the program, and I didn't have any. I didn't have somebody who could help me, and it was really difficult. And if you don't have a mentor, it's also, but if you have, then also it's good to have somebody like a co-student, like co-worker, then co-student. So somebody, because when you see tutorials or some movies how to program, you see people writing so fast and everything works there properly. But when you try to do it by yourself, everything is crashed and you have many errors. And it's important to know that somebody who is learning the same way you learn, he or she have also this problem, errors, obstacles, etc., etc. It's normal and it's the way you learn, but it's good to have somebody to understand that it's your day now, and and to encourage yourself, each other. I think it's super important. So find somebody like that. And at least, but not at last, and I think, to be honest, it was the biggest mistake, that I was learning at the same time I was finishing my FIDI thesis, and I decided to learn programming. So I spent 2 months focusing on CSS, and I felt really well with that. But then I realized, oh my god, I haven't touched my FIDI thesis, and it's time to do it something with that. So I switched to that. And after next 2 months of break, uh, I forgot everything about CSS, because when you take some new topic, then you forget much more quicker than you learn something. So it's super important to work regularly or systematically. It's crucial. It's better to spend 1-2 hours a day than to spend 2 months super intensive on one topic and next have 2 months break. So yeah, work regular. Uh, yeah, and that were the biggest mistake of my learning. Mm, and at the end, I attend 2 weeks workshops with Ruby and Ruby on Rails, where I was building two small application, but from scratch by myself, and the same way you work at company. So we had tickets, tasks, we implemented it, and next we had code reviews. And it was a breakpoint for me, because I realized that I'm able to build something from scratch by myself. And after this, mind changing, after 2 weeks, I got my first job, and I was so proud of me. I was so happy, and I thought, yeah, now I know something, and I make some impression on my employer, so it means I'm good at it. And I started working, and the first application I was working with was 10 years Ruby on Rails application, which was huge. And first 2 weeks I spent learning how to navigate through all these files, because they were huge and there were many of them. So it was when you switch from your to-do list or blog application to from tutorials to 10 years application, then it's a huge difference. And you're totally lost. And you think it's a nightmare and it's a mistake, this career changing. And what's more, it was written in old Ruby on Rails version. So I had to learn differences between current Ruby on Rails version and old one. And yeah, and everything was difficult here. But after some time, I started to get to know this application, and then I got another one to work with, and it was 1 year application, so well and beautiful written. Everybody said that, and it was a new kind of nightmare for me, because there was small classes, which is very good from programming point of view, but these all small classes were in different files, and for me it was difficult to find all these places, and I was just wondering why I have to log into 5 classes instead of having it in one method in one file. Now it looks like it for me ridiculous, because it's really easiest to work with small classes, but at the time it was really difficult for me to navigate it through all that. And there was also a lot of patterns I didn't know. So this first 3 months of working, I spent after work on learning. I enrolled on many courses. I read 1 or 2 books. And in this first 3 months, I learned probably more than over these 2 years before. So it was really challenging, hard, but also I felt that I'm learning something. Unfortunately, after 3 months, my employer decided to close the office in Wrocław, and I had to find a new job. And I thought that I knew something already, and I went to, especially after I wrote down it in my CV. I saw how much I learned through this 3 months, and I was really proud of me. And to be honest, I make also a good impression on my next employer. So I really thought the same way. You should listen to it. It's the same story like with the first job. I thought I'm really know something now. So I went to work and it was a nightmare because there was totally different stack and I had to learn everything from almost from scratch. So also the first few months was learning, reading few books, learning from next few courses, and it was also challenging and hardworking. Yeah, but after some time I get to use it and I knew the application well and I felt comfortable with that. But after 3 years of working there, I realized that I stopped learning. I don't see nothing new there. And what's more, I was the most experienced developer in my team with working with this application, and it was really boring for me. So I decided to change the job last December, and yeah, I thought, okay, after 3 years and even more, I knew something. Now I know something, and the story begins again. I thought I know something, and here in my new company, we use totally different stack. So right now I feel like a junior and again, and I'm learning after work again and reading books and make course and attend courses. So it's a beautiful journey and I really love it, but it also means there is a lot of work. Uh, but yeah, I think it's really great, and I encourage you to do the same way. And I think it's the whole story of my uh, becoming a developer. Hello, hello. Are you there? So if I have some time still, I probably could add some small information. I thought about it right now that if you change your career path and you are a domain expert in one topic and you change to developer, it's a huge advantages to have this domain knowledge from different field than programming because it will be a huge plus for you. So don't be afraid and just go there. Okay, it's everything from my side, I think.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now, but I don't see you.
Yeah. I think. Maru, are
There,
you there?
there was a moment I saw you.
Yeah, thank you for all your knowledge, Katarzyna. It's very interested everything you share. Uh, and it doesn't seem, like, well, the way you say it to most of us is like it will be like super hard, but for you, you I don't know. I guess the way you set yourself or the goals you set in your mind, it looked like very easy the journey for you, but I know it was lots of hours of hard work. So thank you very much for
It
sharing
it was
all
not
of that.
easy, but really it's really great. So just try it.
Yeah, that's incredible. So I think now we can go with the questions, the Q&A, the most expected time
Yeah, sure.
of the webinar here. All right, so let me see. I have some questions here. So, first of all, here, this student, I think it's a student. Well, it doesn't say the name, but he's asking, what do you think, or what is required for junior Ruby on Rails developers in terms of experience, competences, portfolio projects, what the or according to your experience, what do you think it'll be like for the first Ruby on Rails, beginner job?
Yeah, so I think I know it's very different in different companies. So there are no one rule how to do it. And I will tell you my story on my first employment because it's really funny and it shows also how it works. So I got a recruitment task to build something, and I did it, and they hired me because I did it in so original way that nobody do it this way, because I wasn't working with learning with other people, so my understanding of some terms were another than for other people, and it was so impressive for them that I built something so different way that they hired me. Even to be honest, I wasn't even at junior level, but they liked my solution so well that they hired me. So
Wow.
so don't be afraid, just try, and yeah, and if you failed, that you will learn also what you have to learn more. So there is some time after half a year, maybe 1 year. I don't know how much time you spent on learning, but just try and you will see.
Okay.
So
So
there is no rule.
you will think that because of your previous experience, because of your previous career, that give you something special, and that was that you put on this project that you have to do. And
It was just, to be honest, it was misunderstanding.
okay, okay. Well, that's very interesting.
Yeah, so you can make a mistake, and thanks to that, they have a job. So,
Wow.
yeah, just try.
Nice. Yes. Okay. I like that. I like that idea. So, okay, now for
And
them.
maybe one more thing, because I got this job,
Oh, yeah.
but at the same time, I sent CV to two second employers, companies. And one didn't even answer to me, and the second one answered that they don't want even talk with me because they're looking for more experienced developers. So as you can see from super excited employer who is willing to hire you because you're so great and original, to we don't even will speak with you. So there's no rule. Just try.
Wow. Yeah. That's very, very interesting. So, okay, let's go to the next question. Uh, I don't know. What do you think it's special about Ruby that makes people switch into Ruby instead of Python, JavaScript?
So for me, I like Ruby because if it's well written, valid weight, and properly, then you can read it as a book. So the whole sentences. And yeah, after my experience with books, I really like it. So just syntax is beautiful for me.
Oh yes, yes. I think that too. So okay, a next question. What do you say to an employer who asks you why you're changing careers after 10 years, or do they ask that?
Of course, they're asking. And yeah, I said the truth that I was overwhelming of the topic and I needed a change. And also that I find it really interesting. And I think some kind of showing enthusiasm is also important, especially when you don't know a lot.
Yeah, that's very important. And yeah, that you come from another career, but you're committed to this new one.
Exactly.
You know,
Excellent.
that's a very good advice. Okay, so okay, we have Hillary here. She is asking. She's just learning and started learning Ruby, and you're a Ruby developer. And how can she accurately follow a particular path so that she can be a successful Ruby developer? Is there any material that you would say this is the holy grail for Rails or for Ruby? I don't know.
I don't think so. I probably the most important is to learn and study. And I started writing blog last few weeks, month, and I think it's something which helps you to gather all your knowledge together, as well as to see how you learning and see process. So maybe, but to be honest, at first you have to just focus on learning. First few months, it's the most important. And
Okay.
probably writing also. But I'm not saying that when you have already the first job, but after some time, it's good to make some side project. It's also teaching a lot.
Okay, so you will say like challenge yourself with that project, getting Ruby or something like that.
Could you repeat?
You will say you will say to like a imagine a project and then work on the project and look how to do it on Ruby. That will be like your
Yeah,
your vision on how
as
to learn.
yeah,
Like
especially when you working with some application which lives already some time, then building from scratch force you to understand how it works from the beginning, how to set up some environments variable or something like that. So it's good to do something different to what you are doing at the job.
nice. That's a very good approach. So okay. Okay, next one. Mhm. Yeah. What would you say is the most important thing to have or do for a new developer to get their first job interview?
There's no rule. Sorry for that. But when you're learning and building something, it's good to have it on GitHub, and then you can, by learning, you're building also portfolio, so CV. So it's good to have something to show.
Okay. So something to show, Luis.
Yeah. So please, when you create commit, name it properly and know my shitty something next, blah blah blah, because it's very good to show that to the world.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's very important. Keep it professional, please.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, build your portfolio, but keep it professional. That's good. So, okay, do you think to become job ready, you need to spend some time, contributing to open source, or building things? So, what should be like? Should I contribute more to open source, or should I worry about doing more projects for my portfolio? What would you think it's more?
So I haven't yet contributed to open source, but I think both cases would be appreciated. It's
Okay.
difficult to. I think contributing to open source is a big plus, but if you think it's too difficult for you, then building something by yourself, it's also really it's enough, especially when you're junior.
Okay. And always, keep record of your contribution. So, in your resume, of course, because how they can see how uh, what have you done, if right, if you don't put it in your resume, or in your portfolio.
Yeah,
So
I mean when you're in both cases, when you create something by yourself or you contribute to open source, you always make it from your GitHub
oh,
account, so it's always visible.
right, yeah, that's also true. So that's it. Next one will be,
Oh, now I don't hear you, and oh yes, now it's
okay, this one we already say it. Yes. Okay. Okay, so the next question will be, what are the advantages of Ruby compared with Node.js or PHP?
Could you please repeat because it's
Uh,
closed?
yes, of course. What are the advantages of Ruby comparing with other, other technologies like Node.js or PHP?
Mm, I don't know. I don't like this kind of discussion because there are different tools mm, and there are advantages probably of one kind. mm, uh, some advantage disadvantage of every one tool. So I wouldn't say that Ruby is better than JavaScript or whatever. It's different tool, and you use it to different things. And yeah, and it's more like for if your goal is to find the first job, you just should focus on one thing, and then after you have a job, you can try maybe something is nicer for you. I think it's my approach that I want to work with this language which I like, and that's it. But the truth is, you should find a proper tool for proper problem. But you can do it after you have more experience. So
Okay, yeah, that's a very accurate response because every tool is good if you know, if you research it, if you know how to use it. So I guess, but Ruby is just great. So here it's a more profound question. How did you overcome fear or failure? And well, the student is saying that this was a problem for him or her. uh, so do you ever experience fear or
Could
failure?
you please repeat because
Or
I don't hear you well.
how did you overcome fear or failure? Or is this a problem to you? Or was a problem to you?
Mm,
Learning.
okay, so I think a good what really helped me was that I have an image how I will be working. So had an image of me with new MacBook and lying of beach and drinking, water from coconuts. And of course, it's not true. But something, but for example, now I can work from home, I can make home office, and I have MacBook Pro from company. So yeah, it's my dream came to true. And this vision of me there with all this beneficial you have from being a programmer, it was so strong in me. And but it was not only things or money, but also this idea that I can sit down at the table and write something on my computer, and there will be created a child, internet child. So this creative, powerful of programming was a great vision for me, and it gave me power to fight with all obstacles and be super strong with that.
Okay, that's a wonderful answer. So you kept motivated with your goal and your vision. So yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I think motivation is the most important thing because you will have a lot of errors, you will make a lot of failures, and I'm still doing it. I still have many problems at work, and sometimes something doesn't work and it should, blah, blah, blah. But I still like it. And you have to understand that facing with obstacle is part of your job. You just have
Mm,
to think more not about I have problem, but to think more. Okay, I have to solve that problem. How to do it, and it's kind of your job as a programmer, and not only as a junior.
yeah, yeah. That's awesome. I think a lot of us can relate to your words, and all of us can relate to your words. A Another technical question here, and maybe just
Oh, I don't hear you. Sorry. Hello, hello. Oh,
a couple. Well, this and one more, and that will be it. Sorry. Yes.
okay. Now I hear you, but
Okay.
before I didn't hear you.
Okay. Okay. I'm so sorry. It's just it's unstable for some reason. But okay, couple more questions, and that will be it. This is a technical one.
Sure.
How important is RSpec in trying to find a job as a Ruby or Rails developer? You think?
Mm, I think it's good to know how to test. It's normally it's part of your job, so if you know some basics, it would be super cool. Uh, Probably, mm, but yeah, I think yeah, you should learn some basic of our spec.
Okay. And last question. Here it says, what were the greatest challenges? I think you already have uh, talked about them but I guess what would it be the greatest challenge that you face switching from a non-tech background to a Ruby developer?
So I think the greatest challenge was that
If
you're
you can say
you,
you know,
you're
the
learning language and some techniques, etc. But then there are problems coming up around what you're learning. So you're learning Ruby, but there are, for example, the whole Linux environment, and there are things you don't get it and you have no idea what's going on there. But it has some connection with your work. And when there is something crossed together and it creates an error, then it's really hard to get to know what's going on. So
mhm,
yeah, for me it was the most challenging.
the
That
errors, right?
yeah, that errors that was not connected directly with what you are learning, but with everything around that.
All right. That's very good. So I think that will be our time for today. So sadly, that's all we have, guys. A big thanks to all of you for taking time from your busy schedules to join us. You are amazing. And again, many thanks to Katarzyna for doing this.
Thank
And
you for
do
having
you
me.
do
And
you have, yes,
can I
parting words?
last word?
Yes.
Just don't be afraid and do it. It's all about your attitude more than your knowledge. So really, try.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Katarzyna. And well, there you have it. That brings us to the end of this episode of the Lunch and Learn, and we hope to see you for the next one. So until then, bye, everybody. Bye, Katarzyna.
Bye. Thank you. Have a nice
Have a
day.
good day.